Todd from COSN coming back at you again. Hey, today I'm continuing the series on the bug out vehicle, which is my K-5 Blazer that's behind me. And today we're going to talk about the 3/4 ton axle swap. So there's a lot of forums and different things that talk about axle swapping, what type of axles, and just a ton of information out there. So I did a lot of research before I actually did this process, and actually have bought quite a different things that I thought would work and then ended up not working for me. So first off, I want to talk about why doing an axle swap on this K-5 Blazer. So stock, it came with a 10 bolt rear and a 10 bolt in the front. Now why those can handle light off-roading, and they're fairly tough. They're not quite as tough as that I want, because also I'm putting I wanted to go with 35-inch tires, but I found a really good deal. I got 37-inch Humvee tires, which I'll show you in a later video. So stepping up to that large a tire, you want to go with some axles that can handle that size of tire. And typically, you can get away with 31s, and you can sometimes get away with 35s on your stock axles. But since I'm stepping up such a big tire and I want to try to make this as bulletproof as possible, I'm switching to a 14 bolt free floating Chevy rear end, which is a 3/4 ton 8 lug. And on the front, this goes into a big debate. So I wish I could have found a Dana 60. Dana 60s are hard or rare to find around this area, and they cost a lot of money. So to kind of sidestep that, because a Dana 60 in the front, you never have to look back. But then I got into the big debate between the Dana 44 and, of course, the 10 bolt. Now, the 10 bolt's 28 spline, the Dana 44 is 30 spline. Now, that gives you a little more strength on the Dana 44. There's a lot of arguments. Oh, Dana 44, you don't ever have to look back. Well, but a lot of people that have been into four-wheel drive knows, and if they did a lot of research, it's not so. The spline count does count, but where it steps down in the axle, and I'll show you a picture here. And where it steps down is where it actually snaps at. So what I'm going to do, and not immediately, but what I'm going to move into, is I'm actually going to get Chromoly Axles that takes that step down out and gives you a very way better axle than you can get. And I'm going to use the 10 bolt rather than the Dana 44. Mainly because availability. You can find 10 bolts all over the place. You get Chromoly Axles. Yes, your weak point comes out to your knuckles. Now I'll use some hardened U-joints for the knuckles, and then of course now your pumpkin becomes the weak point. So then eventually I'll put an air locker in, an HD air locker, and get rid of that point. Now I also want to mention that I'm not building a rock crawler, so to speak. If you've seen rock crawler, that's really heavy duty off-roading. I'm looking at doing a moderate off-roading, and the ability to do that with not having to worry about something breaking. So that's why I'm switching to these 3/4 ton axles. Now first, what I have to do, I got this from Off-Road Design, is these are actually flip shackle brackets, and this is a great build. It's a 3/8 plate, and it is tough. And basically I got to knock out some body mounts, get the old shackle out, these bolt in, and it gives me a 4-inch lift without having to use blocks. Now you can use blocks, or you can use your extended leaf springs, but I prefer to do the flip shackle over buying some new, unless I have to, but I shouldn't have to, some new leaf springs, and because that could be pretty costly. These brackets actually were cheaper than buying new leaf springs, and it eliminates this block, and this block actually creates a lot of axle wrap, and I'll get into what that means, and aligning your drive lines correctly, and so forth, so on. So I just want to show you this and tell you kind of my reasoning behind it. I thank you guys for watching, and I'll show you some clips along the way, and we'll move to our next process.